knows you're not selling anything.
The Fed's not done, and I'm going to tell you why.
Welcome back to Sean's show, guys. Solo episode this week from New York City. I hope you're doing well out there. My producer, all my producers have failed me, except for my friend's basement, which is they're the only ones. Money talks. That's all I'm gonna say. Even though I pay Maxim, I pay these comedians money, they don't show up. It's anyway, we'll just do a solo episode, guys. I'm in New York. I'm very happy to be here. I finally found a place to move, so it's gonna be fun. I'm excited for a new chapter. Gonna find a new producer to help me build the show, guys. But I hope you're having a good week. I did not have a good week. I was on a flight, and something happened to me that had never happened before to me. I've only heard about this in the mythology, but I was on a flight and it was oversold. It was oversold. And I happened to be one of the unlucky few that got a ticket that was assigned a seat an hour before the flight. And then when the flight rolls around, suddenly I don't have a seat. Suddenly the ticket says C agent. And I thought it was fine, C agent. That means say hi to the agent, right? And have a nice. I'm always up for a chat with American Airlines, the representative there. They're very exciting, really hardworking people that work at American Airlines. And I go over there, and apparently this plane is oversold, and I don't have my seat has been sold twice. I guess they sold, because that's how you know America's failing. That's how you know we're really going down the fucking drain, is that businesses aren't even trying to hide their fraud anymore. They're not trying to hide their fraud. At least back in the day, they would hide it behind a little curtain and they'd still be fucking you, but you wouldn't really know about it. Now we live in a world where their businesses just downright sell you something and then don't give it to you after you buy it from them. I mean, the social contract is falling apart. No, I don't know. I don't think I was overreacting. Like, I'm there and I'm the only one that, like, it's me and it's me and 3 Canadians who had been coming back from a work trip. Maybe that was it, actually. Now that I really think about it, when they told me it was oversold, when you get told that your flight is oversold and you don't have a seat and you may not get on the plane, it is your right it is your God-given right as an American to throw a fit, to go into a fucking rage. That is every American's right. When an issue happens at the airport, it is your right to go into a rage. That's actually the Fifth Amendment. It's part of it's the right to remain silent, and it's the right to not remain silent. So I go, I'm filling with rage. I'm filling with rage. I really am. And these Canadians who also lost their seats, they seemingly don't give a fuck. Like, I'm like, hey man, didn't you also lose your seat? And he's like, yeah, I'm just trying to go home to feed my family. Is that Canadian? I don't know. He's like, I'm just trying to go home to see my family. I'm like, dude, let's be angry about, we're not going to get anywhere. The protesters could take a note out of this playbook. You're not going to get anywhere just sitting there with your hands folded nicely. Okay. You're not. I say that to you as I record with my hands folded nicely. Guys, it's so I'm at the airport. I'm a reasonable guy. I'm not, I was containing my rage because I was like, okay, maybe there's a solution to this, right? So I go up to the guy. I'm like, hey, can you get me on we're going to Toronto. So I was like, okay, could you just get me on the next flight? It was Chicago, I believe, to Toronto. I was like, could you get me on the next flight to Toronto? So the gate agent, these agents, they must, dare I make this comparison? They are about as callous as the NYPD. They have no emotion. They have no feeling. A gate agent at the airport will destroy and obliterate your life in front of you and smile about it. I don't know if they're trained to do that, but that's what this guy was basically doing to me. I was like, because I couldn't, we had a show. We had a show in Toronto. We needed to make the flight. And so I was like, I need to be on the next flight. And even that flight was going to fuck me up and I barely make it to the show. And you know what the guy said? He looks up the flight and he says, I'm sorry, the next 2 flights to Toronto today are also all sold out. And I was like, okay, well, that shouldn't be a problem because you oversold this flight. So just sell me a seat on the next flight. That's sold out, but you oversold this one. Oh, but are you only overselling this flight and not the next one? So this one's oversold, but the next flight, you've already oversold it too much. Where's the rule? Like, I was going to self-immolate in front of this gate at Chicago O'Hare Airport. I was going to self-immolate. And I didn't realize why people set themselves on fire. I didn't realize why that sort of passion, how someone could have that much passion and vigor for an issue. And then I was denied my seat on a flight. And I realized that, if I can't, I started to connect the dots. I was like, if I can't get on this flight, maybe my life isn't, maybe death is better. Maybe a fiery death that screams into the void, much like this show, is better than letting American Airlines fuck my ass. I should have asked the gate agent. I was like, do you like fucking people in the ass? Do you like twisting knives into people's hearts? I should have lied. I really should have lied. I should have been like, hey, like my wife has cancer and she's on her deathbed. And if you don't get me on this flight, I'm going to get another flight and I'm going to crash it into the American Airlines HQ building. This podcast will get me on the no-fly list eventually, which will make a lot of my road travel inconvenient, but it's worth it. It's worth it if you guys like it. So anyway, that was my week and a bunch of other, it's been a tough week in the news, man. It's just, it's hard to see what's happening out there. Obviously there's a lot of turmoil right now, and I think it's really hard to watch. No matter where you stand on this issue, it's hard to watch people hurting on both sides. Of course, I'm talking about the TikTok ban that's coming. No, it's a lot of people are like, there's a lot of people that are hurting on both sides of this issue that of course, the TikTok ban. It's really sad. It's really sad. It's the biggest story of the week by far. I can't think of a single story that's as big as the TikTok ban story. Not a goddamn one. I'm walking around college campuses. All over the country, and people are in a rage about the TikTok ban. No, I kind of want to go to Columbia University and like put up a sign and have a sign that says like, keep TikTok in the US. Like I want to go in between the Palestine and the Israeli protesters with a sign that says, keep TikTok in the US. And I want to start like fighting both of them and just get them like confused. And they'll be like, I want to go there and have the like, from Mean Girls, like the like, she doesn't even go here vibes. Like that's what I want. I'm like, she doesn't even go to the school. I want to go there and, provide some levity to that situation because it's, it's hard to watch. A lot of debate is being reinvigorated about free speech. And as you know, guys, I've been talking about your rights as an American for many episodes on the show. And there's the reason I talk about this stuff is not because it's just wishy-washy shit in the fucking sky. It's really real. It applies when you have issues like this, when you have people protesting on college campuses. Your rights are all you have. And that's what you have to stand behind when people try to take those rights away from you. And so it's obviously a balance between the constitutional amendment of freedom of speech and organizing. And on the other hand, you have uh the right to uh an orderly, you know, place that is like the like, that's free from disruptions. Like, I mean, people have to like we have to live in a society with rules, and so and again, I'm not trying to discredit the protesters. I'm not I think it's cool. Um a lot of protesters are getting hate. A lot of pro Palestine protesters are getting hate on the college campuses because it's very easy to make fun of them, be saying like, "Oh, you're just a pussy liberal rich college kid and your parents pay for fund your whole life." And it really bothers me when that criticism is laid upon the pro-Palestine protesters because I am a rich liberal pussy that has my parents pay for everything. So it really hurts me when that is brought up. That's like, like blood libel for Jews. That's like blood libel for college kids. When you mention the fact that their parents pay for everything, it's like the equivalent of blood libel. It's that bad. I think it's that bad. No, I don't know. I don't know where you guys stand on this issue. And it's like, again, it's like one thing we all have to remember is that you can't don't lose your sanity to this issue. Don't lose your sanity. And it's really, like these people, they're self-immolating for Palestine. They're self-immolating for Trump. Trump doesn't give a fuck about the guy that's self-immolated, and Hamas doesn't care about that guy, Aaron Bush, that's self-immolated. It's really it's tough. But again, if I self-immolated in front of American Airlines Gate 16 at Chicago O'Hare Airport, that's different. That's a different story. Because that is a real protest. That's a real fucking protest. But TikTok's being banned. The courts have passed it. Let's go into this article. Welcome to Sean Show, where I read you the news that's available for free online. Let's take a look here. Headline. TikTok. Where's the goddamn fucking article? By the way, I'm the only comedy podcast that still says fuck uncensored. Every comedy podcast is bleeping fuck. I'm like, come on, guys. Let's have some fucking some balls. Let's see here. So, why China is holding its fire as the US moves to ban TikTok. It's interesting. So, a new law banning or forcing a sale of TikTok's US operations has escalated the tech war with China by taking direct aim at the country's first mobile app to break through globally. So far, Beijing appears to be pulling its punches. So it's interesting the way this is playing out. ByteDance, which is TikTok's parent company, said on its Chinese news app Thursday that it was not considering a sale. Chinese officials at the country's main internet regulator have privately indicated to the company their preference is for pulling the app to pull out of the US as opposed to forcing a sale. Beijing hasn't been shy about lashing out at the US when it chooses to do so. The relatively muted response this week stands in contrast to China's often forceful defense of its other technology champions, including Huawei, which of course does telecom infrastructure, and they're building stuff all over Africa. And let's really take a step back and see what's happening with the sale. So it's kind of ironic that TikTok is a place where Gen Z millennials to a lesser extent, and Gen Alpha, which is after Gen Z, which I'm talking about. I didn't coin that, but that's just what they're calling them, Gen Alpha. They'll probably get a new name soon. I don't think it'll stay Gen Alpha. That's too lame. The Zoomers, every generation needs its own nickname, and Gen Alpha is not going to be like, it's going to be autistic Zoom. It's autists is what it is. Is Gen Alpha. That's what the A stands for. But it's very, and let's real TikTok is owned by China, and it also happens to be one of the only apps where videos are showed to people that may not agree with our ideology. I mean, it really is the only app where you see a diversity of thought anymore, other than maybe YouTube. But YouTube just serves you videos that are already, once you watch, if you go on YouTube and you make a new account and you watch Jordan Peterson, you're going to get Rogan, Peterson, for the rest of your life on YouTube. And on the flip side, if you watch like a speech by Obama, you're going to get liberal views for the rest of your life on YouTube. Whereas TikTok is interesting because it does kind of serve you content that is, you may not agree with. And the United States wants that banned. They don't want that because they want you in your little bubble. They want you in your little ideological bubble. Whereas China wants you to be a trans communist. No, I'm kidding, guys. I don't, and again, the reasons that the US has they tried to ban it when Trump was president. They tried. Also, isn't it fucking, am I the only one that thinks it's fucking crazy that Oracle tried to buy the US business unit of TikTok? Fucking Oracle. Or if I need to remind you, Oracle does databases and servers and shit, and they want to get into the social media business. Am I the only one that thinks that's crazy? Oracle was going to buy it? And that just goes to show how retarded these MBA dumbasses are at these companies in the M&A departments at these companies. Oracle, really? Not Facebook? I mean, it's if it gets banned, it's going to violently and drastically reduce the choice that people have to put out content. And it's going to strengthen the oligopoly, the Mark Zuckerberg oligopoly of monopoly, really, of Facebook and Instagram and Google's YouTube. So we'll see what happens with that. I think a lot of people have been asking me, Sean, do you support the ban of TikTok? Do you want it to be sold to a US company? What's your take on that? It's really, really simple. I'm injecting fentanyl into my veins. That's what I'm doing now. That's the way out. So, got that covered. So let's get to the main story here. AI is really, it's in every conversation online now. I feel like maybe I'm just an autistic guy and all of my stuff on Twitter is just AI bullshit. But it seems like AI is just really creeping into every aspect of our culture. AI video, deep fakes, all this AI infrastructure. What does that even mean? AI infrastructure. What does that even mean? I don't know. I go, anyone that's trying to get a new job out there, I recommend in the job interview, just say the words AI infrastructure. You will get that job. Here's how you get a job. Here's how you get a job in 2024. You go into the job interview. You say, hi, my name is John Johnson III. I live in Manhattan. That could all be a lie. Your name could be Pradeep, and you may live in India, but you just lie. That's the only way to get in the room. Once you're in the room and they ask you a question, doesn't matter what company you're working for, what you're trying to get into, you go, look, I mean, here's what you do. Here's what I'm honestly, I should just do consulting for people getting jobs because I'm very, very good at it. Someone asks you, they go, oh yeah, welcome to the interview. Hello, hi, blah, blah, blah. Why do you want to work at this company? What makes you different? Why should we hire you? They're going to ask you that. And you say these words exactly. You go, I mean, look, AI infrastructure is changing everything. And when you zoom out and you see what's going on with Internet of Things, IoT, machine learning, these are trends that are going to influence everything. And that is really especially relevant when you think about this firm and what you guys are doing and how you can do it better when it comes to euthanizing dogs and cats. I'm very passionate about that. Like you're interviewing to go to a place where dogs and cats are euthanized. Talk about AI infrastructure because that's going to affect that industry. Look, I mean, how can we use AI? How can we use AI to euthanize dogs better? How can we use GPUs? Maybe what we do is we set up a server rack of GPUs and then we put the dog next to that server rack and we let the server overheat the dog and have that euthanize the dog. Maybe that's how AI can be used in this industry. You will get hired because it's a way to stun someone. It's the equivalent of hitting someone with a taser. Just say the words AI infrastructure. It's like tasing them because no one can say it. Like I was fighting with my girlfriend the other day. My girlfriend was like, "You're never around. All you do is work." I was like, "Look, baby. When it comes to AI infrastructure and machine learning, it's really going to impact our relationship." That's what I said, and she had nothing to say. So that's what I recommend. Just say the words AI infrastructure. But the US, here's what's different about the AI trend, in my opinion, versus other trends like the Industrial Revolution throughout history. You look at history, actually, no, I take that back. The opposite. It's the same exact things are happening now that happened when other technologies were being when there was a race, basically an arms race for other technologies like oil and the embedding of oil into everything we do. When oil was discovered and oil was starting to be used in all these different technologies, transportation, plastic, whatever, John D. Rockefeller, my God and Savior, my Jesus Christ, JD, John Jesus D. Christ, he obviously started Standard Oil, which was effectively a monopoly on oil. And he was very smart. And this is and it's happening again with artificial intelligence, but I'll get to that in a sec. John D. Rockefeller created a committee of oil executives, whether it be Standard Oil or the logistics systems, trains that were used to transport the oil. He was very smart about this. He created a committee, a board, let's say, that was not necessarily a board of a company, but it was a board of all the leadership, the quote unquote leadership in this industry. And they got together and he sold it as a way of, hey, let's all work together and navigate this innovation. That's how it was sold to the government and sold to the public. And what it really was it was a way for John D. Rockefeller to front run any regulation for his business. And that's exactly what's happening right now. So let me read you this headline. OpenAI, Sam Altman. Remember Sam Altman's name. Sam Altman's going to be a guy who... Sam Altman could be the guy that ends the world. He might be the last face you see before you die and wake up in his... I could honestly see that being in the... That could be the future, guys. Let's not forget that in the future, you may die and you may wake up and the first thing you see is a virtual screen and Sam Altman's there talking to you and he's like, welcome to the afterlife. I'm Sam Altman. I'll be your guide. He's the new Mark Zuckerberg. He's the new guy. And he is on a board along with other people to, again, make sure that AI is implemented safely. That's the pitch, is that this board exists to make to make sure AI is implemented safely. AI is not even that fucking powerful. All these guys hype up AI. It's not even that fucking powerful, guys. It's truly not. I'm trying to find this fucking article. It's not. But they're trying, they're trying to front run it to make sure that they can get ahead of regulation. That's my whole point. My whole point is they're trying to get ahead of regulation. Finally, here we go. From the Wall Street Journal, OpenAI's Sam Altman and other tech leaders to serve on AI safety board. That should be horrifying to your ears. When I read that, I was like, we're fucked. As soon as there's a board to make AI safe, we are all fucked. And it's here, Panel will advise Department of Homeland Security. Oh, great. So we have an AI safety board with a bunch of NBA CEO fucktards that are going to help advise the DHS on, those are all people I don't trust, are going to help advise making AI safe. I don't trust any of these fucking people. Sam Altman, the Department of Homeland Security, these are all tyrants that are going to fuck us. And I hope to be on the board. I hope to be on the AI safety board someday. But for now, they're tyrants. Sam Altman is participating in an effort to develop protections against AI-related threats to critical infrastructure. Words mean nothing anymore. Critical infrastructure. Again, AI infrastructure. AI safety. These words mean nothing, and they're going to be used to deprive you of oxygen someday. The words AI safety are going to be used to deprive you of oxygen and slowly kill you. And you should be happy about that because you own a little bit of Bitcoin. People that own one Bitcoin think that they're going to survive the apocalypse. Are you fucking retarded? I'm sorry. I know I'm in Brooklyn. Are you retarded? Are you retarded? You are not going to survive the apocalypse because you have $30,000 in Bitcoin. Okay? You need 2 Bitcoin. Buy Bitcoin. You need at least 60,000 or you're fucked. Washington. Sam Altman of OpenAI and the chief executives of NVIDIA. I dropped the article, guys. I'm sorry. NVIDIA, Microsoft, and Alphabet are among technology industry leaders joining a new federal advisory board focused on the secure use of artificial intelligence within the U.S. critical infrastructure in the Biden administration's latest effort to refill a regulatory vacuum over the rapidly proliferating excuse me, I'm having coffee, guys. I'm sorry. Technology. So is the board created to regulate the industry? Because you're working with the people that don't want regulation. So how are you going to regulate it if you're taking advice from the people that don't want any regulation? I mean, the government is obviously Biden's asleep at the wheel. He's asleep in general. He's dead. I go whenever someone's like, what do you think about Joe Biden? I'm like, Joe Biden is dead. He's in the ground. That's not the real Joe Biden. If you think that's the real Joe Biden, you need to wake up. Artificial intelligence. I'm kidding. I'm going to vote for him again, guys. AI Safety and Security Board is part of a government push to protect the economy, public health, and vital industries, as opposed to what? Non-vital industries? Get the fuck out of here with this bullshit. From being harmed by AI-powered threats. Working with the DHS, it will develop recommendations for power grid operators. Oh, great. OpenAI is going to be involved in the power grid. So what? Latino women are going to get power before me, electricity before me. I don't know about that. That was a little edgy. Look, guys. Transportation service providers and manufacturing plants, among others, on how to use AI while bulletproofing their systems against potential disruptions that could be caused by advances in the technology. You know who's on the board? You know who's on the AI safety board that has no business being on the AI safety board? Kathy Warden, CEO of Northrop Grumman. Why is the CEO of Northrop Grumman on the AI safety board? That should be very concerning to you. It should be the CEO of Lockheed Martin, a much better stock that I like. Delta Airlines chief executive Ed Bastian. Oh, great. So anyone can join. So if the CEO of Delta Airlines is on the AI safety board, I should be on the AI safety board. What the fuck is that guy? What is the airline CEO doing on the AI safety board? Is the AI safety board going to help oversell air flights more effectively? Is that what it's going to do? People think AI is going to, it's not as cool as you think. It's just not as cool as you think. It's just not. All it does, there's no inner consciousness. There's no inner critical thinking. Guys, I know this shit. I'm a smart guy. I've studied this bullshit. And I'm lying to you right now, and I actually haven't. I don't know that much about it, but I'm going to pretend that I do to have a take. But guys, think about it. It's just a server rack. It's a server rack of chips. Even if you work at Sonic and you're a dumbass and you're making minimum wage, you can understand this. It's a server rack of hardware. It is not a human being. It does not have the ability to critically think. I encourage you to go use ChatGPT. Spend 5 minutes in ChatGPT, and you will realize we are eons away from it actually critically thinking like a human would. We are eons away. All AI is it's going to be a new way to pay you less than you are worth. That's all it is. It's going to be a way to prop up fake jobs that aren't real, that pay $300,000 a year, that leverage AI, and get you to pay nothing. And again, I'm not trying to say that AI isn't innovative, because it is. And there's going to be innovations in this industry, but stop being so fucking happy about it. Stop being so happy about it. It's, these guys, they dick ride Sam Altman and OpenAI like he's the savior of humanity. Just like, hey guys, you all loved Elon Musk 10 years ago, and I was shitting on him. I was the only guy shitting on Elon Musk 10 years ago. Now everyone fucking hates the guy. Well, guess what? I was right then, and I'm right now. Sam Altman's going to be your next guy, okay? And he may be way worse because OpenAI has some real fucking power. You want to know why? It's a nonprofit. It's a nonprofit company, but it's a for-profit company. OpenAI is crazy. It's a nonprofit company, but it's a for-profit company, but Microsoft owns 40% of it, but they have customers but there's an AI safety board, a federal AI safety board that's working with Joe Biden. It's a recipe for conspiracy theorists to go crazy. When you make it complicated and when you have all these different moving parts, you're opening it up for abuse. You're opening up the potential for corruption and abuse. And it's fire starter. That's what it is. It's kindling. There's more kindling in the open AI world than in the Middle East. Truly. And more people will die. I can guarantee you that. Not me, because I own 2 Bitcoin. Sometimes I wonder, is this a comedy show or am I just, a lot of people that listen to this, I feel like, oh shit, I got to answer your questions, guys. And let me know if this is better than having a producer. Bill Burr just talks into the mic and doesn't have a producer laughing. So maybe this is, I do feel a little better, this is really good for my narcissism. Let me answer your guys' questions. By the way, if you ask a question, I have a Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/Sean Show. Okay. And if you ask a question, if you join the group, I will, first of all, I'll suck your dick. And if you ask a question in the group, I will give you 5 whole US dollars. Not 5 Canadian dollars, not 5 yen, 5 US dollars. So, Gary asks, when can I become a citizen of Shawntopia? Gary, Shawntopia will exist very soon. Shawntopia already exists in your mind. If it exists in your mind, then you're a citizen. Congratulations. So you're now officially a citizen. I will be starting a new country though. I'm gonna call it Palestine. No. Um, but thanks, Gary. Gary, message me your Venmo, and I will get you some cash. Kareem asks, "You doing anything in New York this weekend?" It's my last day in New York, dude. I'm sorry. I'm doing a show, and then we're off to Boston. But next time I'm in New York, we'll hang out, and you can poison me. Or I feel like half my listeners would poison me if they had the chance. I really wonder, like, who the audience for this is. Like, who is this for? Who is it for? I really don't know. We'll find out. Hopefully it's people that like comedy. But yeah, dude, I just encourage you to stay sane out there. It's very hard to square everything right now because activism is important. Activism and protesting are very important. And there's an inherent feeling inside every human to defend and stand up for people that are being oppressed. There is that feeling. And that really it's reaching a fever pitch in society right now because you have a nation state that is, I mean, it's really let's be honest, it's a genocide against the people of Israel. And has to stop. No, I'm joking. I'm kidding, guys. I don't know. It's probably the most divisive issue ever, Israel, Palestine, the Middle East, and if you're in a country listening to this that is not Israel or Gaza, it's of course it's good to care about, I don't know, it's apathy. It's hard because it's like, it's really competing. There's two ground truths here, I think. The first ground truth is that humans naturally want to self-preserve. They want it. That's just real. And that is sort of, I'm not trying to be edgy or anything, but we all have self-preservation inside of us. We all want to make sure we can survive and stay alive and live comfortable lives and protect the loved ones around us. And then there's the second ground truth is, I sound like Jordan Peterson. The second ground truth is altruism. And let's not deny that altruism is very important. And I did ketamine with a hooker last night, and I talked about altruism with her for many months. For many hours, I talked with a stripper about altruism. And I learned a lot about her boobs, about her breasts. I lost my voice, guys. But we want to be altruistic, but we also need to self-preserve. And ultimately, I think that's where a lot of the clash comes down to between people that are it's not even like people that support Israel or people that support Palestine. It's about people that are involved at all and people that don't want to get involved. And I'm just trying to speak for the people that don't want to get involved. Like, there's a lot of guilt around. I think there's a lot of guilt and shame being thrown at the people that don't want to get involved. And it's tough to. It's some of that shame is justified, because how do you just go on living your life in the face of all of this destruction? But, and I said this last episode again, but it really depends on how you look at humanity. And I happen to be a cynical guy. I happen to be a guy that thinks that there will always be genocide, which is horrible to say. But, John Lennon sang about a world of peace and love 60 years ago, and then he got shot. So I don't know what you want. John Lennon sang about peace and love. He also hit his wife, but he got shot. So go ahead and preach peace and love. You're going to get shot. Not by me. I want it too. I would like it too. But there's just always going to be, if Palestine, this is a very hot take, but I'm going to fucking say it. If Palestine becomes a country, that country will be subject to the same inner desires in everyone who covets power. Anyone who leads a country is a narcissist that covets power and can be thrusted into a position where they're committing a genocide. And sure, sovereignty is very important. And it's obviously, I don't want innocent people to fucking die. So don't get me wrong. Don't get it twisted. But, it's that old song by The Who. We won't get fooled again. Won't get fooled again. Every empire, the American Empire, the British Empire, in Africa, everywhere you look in the world, horrific acts of violence are being acted on innocent people. And this is a comedy show, but I'm going to try to make this funny. It's a cycle. It's just a cycle. Every empire naturally wants to expand and colonize. And I think it's time we admit to ourselves that colonization will never end. I don't know. I'm just kind of saying shit. Is that crazy to think about? How does it? And I'm not trying to I know I'm being like the Silicon Valley white guy that's debating. I'm being that white guy that's like, well, let me debate you on that. I know I don't want to be the guy when people are like, free Palestine, or any issue, or Black Lives Matter. I'm not trying to be the guy that's like, well, let me debate you on that. What do you mean by that? I'm not trying to be that guy. I'm just trying to get to the truth. That's all I'm trying to do, and be funny, but also get to the truth. And I do feel like, and I realize this may be controversial, but there's always, war has always existed, and I just don't see war ending anytime soon. And that, and all I'm doing, I'm trying to build a bridge here with people that are actually protesting. I'm not against you, but I'm trying to show you where the apathy comes from and the cynicism comes from. The apathy of the masses that really kind of live their lives and seemingly don't care about the genocide. Their apathy is not because of their apathy of of the Palestinians specifically. It's an apathy for the human condition and the nature of the human condition. It's a belief that might be false. It's a belief that war has existed. Death and violence and horror crisis has always existed, and it always will exist. And, living a life that makes you happy is not, and it's a belief that just because that stuff's happening doesn't mean that people shouldn't be happy and enjoy their lives in the meantime. And if I was ever to win a Grammy or a Golden Globe, this is the speech I would give at Hollywood, or an Emmy. I would go up there. I'd be like, to all the Hollywood elites, let's have some fun. Let's have some fun. Let's have some fun, because if we don't live it up, what was the point of that genocide? Guys, if we don't live it up, why do we genocide those people? All right, I'm joking. These are jokes, people. Jesus Christ. I honestly didn't think I could talk for this long, but here we are. It's and the one exception, of course, is if I'm about to board a flight and my seat was sold to someone else. That's when my seat on my flight was sold to someone else and taken from me, and no one around me gave a fuck, and no one spoke up for me, I literally was like, oh my God, this is how the Jews must have felt during the Holocaust. This is how the Palestinians might feel right now. My world, my life is ending. I don't have a seat on a flight. My life is over, and no one cares. Everyone just goes about their business. And I was like, this is a genocide of my flight travel. This is a genocide of my air travel, and no one cares. Free my seat. Free my seat. And that's the episode title. Talking about free Palestine, free my airline seat. Free my seat on my flight. Free my Toronto seat. Okay? That's what's important. All right, we'll do one more story. We'll close it out. Let's see here. How do we want to end this shit? The draft, the NFL draft. Nah, you guys, I don't think people that listen to this watch sports. So if you want NFL draft takes, I'm not your guy. Like whatever Barstool Sports is, I want this to be the opposite of that. I promise you guys, I will never have a fuck boy. Whatever fuck boy Barstool shit is, I want to be the opposite of that. I want to be like the guy for nerds, autistic, movie lovers, music, jazz nerds, jazz listening finance bros. That's what this is. Not like dejected, fucking lobotomized Barstool Sports dumbasses. If you watch Barstool Sports, get the fuck out of here, too. Please do not listen to my show. Let's see here. Thanks for bearing with me, guys. Our final story. I mean, how do we want to land this plane? The Trump trial. I'm trying to cover everything for you guys. I haven't really been like tuning into the Trump trial. It sort of seems like maybe it's just my newsfeed and my little bubble on my phone, but I really haven't been. People have not been making that much noise about the Trump trial, other than that guy setting himself on fire. Actually, that's what we should end on. So the guy who set himself on fire in front of the Trump trial wrote a manifesto, and I read it, and it was bad. It was bad. It was a very low quality manifesto. I'll put it to you that way. I read the whole thing, and here's the thing with manifestos from serial killers or terrorists. Osama bin Laden is another guy who wrote a manifesto called A Letter to America, which I also recommend. I have I should have like a Sean Show reading list, and it's going to be all manifestos. This guy's manifesto would not make that reading list. It's kind of hack. As a comedian, I strive for originality. I strive for uniqueness in what I say and my uniqueness in my views. And I gotta say, this Trump this guy who self-immolated, I don't know his name, whatever it is, say his name. He wrote a manifesto. It sucked. Let me read an excerpt from it. I think I saved it on my X. On X, it was a saved post because I want to read this to you guys. It's very funny. One moment. Da 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 ba 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 ba. Na 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 da 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 da. La 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 la. Bum bum. Okay, let me see here. I looked up Trump Burning Man, and a bunch of stuff for like the Burning Man music festival came out, and that was that was funny. God damn it, that's a video. Let me see here. Sorry guys, I don't have a producer today. I'm just gonna need to find it myself here, but bear with me, guys. It's a free show. This is free content, so you can go fuck yourself if you're like, why isn't Sean getting the thing up faster? I'm doing 8 jobs, okay? So give me a sec. Trump burning manifesto guy. Let's see if that works. I'm trying to find the actual manifesto. Here we go. Ready? I hope this is in here. Okay, here we go. The man who doused himself on fire with an accelerant and set himself ablaze outside the Donald Trump Manhattan trial on Friday published an online manifesto declaring that he self-immolated to warn the world about a quote, apocalyptic fascist world coup. He was also an open mic comedian in Austin, Texas. Interesting. The self-immolating conspiracy theorist was identified as Max Azzarello, a 37-year-old from Florida. Surprise! From Florida, who was in critical condition Friday afternoon. He declared online that the act was an extreme protest to draw attention to an urgent and important discovery. He wrote a manifesto on Substack. Substack seems to be the only website where you can actually speak your mind. Oh, here we go. Finally, Jesus Christ. Calls it the Ponzi Papers. The title is The True History of the World, Haunted Carnival Edition. And I recommend you go through this because it's a pamphlet. It's very funny. In a lot, like, again, my whole point, I don't agree with the guy. 80% of every serial killer or terrorist manifesto, 80% of it is stuff that we all agree with. And the other 20%, which is usually the conclusion of the manifesto, is like a retarded take that's like edgelord or cringy. It's a cringy edgelord take. But let me read some stuff from this because it's an entertaining read. If nothing else, the Trump manifesto from this guy who self-immolated is an entertaining read, if nothing else. And that's what America is. It's entertainment. It's circus. And this guy put out some great I gotta say, the manifesto is great content. And I'm very glad it exists so that I can fill time on my podcast. Because Lord knows I don't have anything to say. It's kind of poetic. He goes, this is the middle of it. He goes, as the years went on, the fascist conditioning only grew. Gone were the calls for revolution. Now the public was gleefully singing along to Highway to Hell. Punk and death metal preached doom, apathy, and hopeless nihilism. Gangsta rap celebrated violence, hedonism, and excess. MTV sold the younger generation apathy, irony, and image. Is this supposed to? It reads like the end of it reads like a senior superlatives thing in like a high school. We laughed. He goes, punk and death metal music were preached doomed, apathy, and hopeless nihilism. Gangster rap celebrated violence, hedonism, and excess. It reads like a senior speech at it reads like a graduation speech. We laughed, we cried, we learned, we died inside from exams. Applause, That's how this reads. It reads, it's just hack. It reads like bad spoken word from a Columbia liberal studies major. There's one theft tool that our fascist elites have embraced more than any other, the Ponzi scheme. It's been a favorite out of the Ivy League schools and Silicon Valley. Wrong, sir. But he goes, the network of criminals built so many Ponzi schemes, they threw us into recessions. Again, we all agree with most of this stuff. Silicon Valley is bullshit. The companies are propped up and they don't deliver what they promise to deliver. Cryptocurrency, he like shits on NFTs. Dude, if you self-immolate and in your manifesto you talk about NFTs, it's time to go back to the drawing board. You really didn't put a lot of thought and you weren't that incisive. And that's really my conclusion with the manifesto, the Trump manifesto. The guy was not that incisive, and he just, and my reaction throughout the whole thing, I was turning the pages of the pamphlet, watching him burn alive. I was there. I was watching him burn alive, turning the pages of the pamphlet, like, yeah, no shit. Liquid death is a brand of water, and we all drink it now, and that's somehow bad. Yeah, no shit. I don't know. It's just, it was not unique. And I give it a C-. It's a passing grade, but I give it a C-, if we're being honest, guys. He concludes by saying this, and I'll just read it word for word. When our entire life is a lie, the truth is our fascist leader's kryptonite. By the way, he's a superhero movie guy. He used the word kryptonite. any superhero fan and MCU fan that self-immolates, I'm glad you've self-immolated so we have one less superhero fan in the world. Jesus fucking Christ. A small movement armed with these truth-colored glasses, gross, will become a big one. So laugh defiantly. So he goes, so laugh defiantly and spread the news. The emperor has no clothes. If you share this story, you will bend history. And if you do it quickly, we can stave off the apocalypse. The biggest lie they told us is that we are powerless. You're actually wrong. You are powerless. Because you want to know how I know you're powerless, Max? You self-immolated, my friend. You set yourself on fire and no one cared. So if there's no other, what stronger evidence of your powerlessness could there be than your self-immolation meaning nothing? And that is ultimately what stops me from self-immolating in front of American Airlines Gate 16 at the Chicago O'Hare Airport, is that I would do it and it would be a story for 12 hours and then it would go away. So my message to you is, I know it's crazy out there right now. Shit be real on the streets. Shit be real on the streets. And my message to you is to stay sane and don't self-immolate, because if you guys set yourselves on fire, you can't listen to the podcast. Your eardrums are going to burn and you won't be able to listen to my beautiful voice, and you won't be able to be a listener one day that will hear ads from me. So I can't make money. If you set yourself on fire, I can't make money off you. So don't do that. At least wait until I can make some fucking money off you. Okay. All right, guys, we did it. An hour without a fucking producer. That's our show. Shout out to my friend's basement for having us. Thanks, Maxim. And I will see you guys. I'm moving to New York City. Again, closing thoughts. Follow the show on Spotify. For the love of fucking Christ, please, guys. Even if you don't listen on Spotify, go on Spotify, make an account, pay $8 a month, follow the show on Spotify, and then I want you to leave a review, preferably 5 stars. But if you leave a 1-star review, that's fine too, really. I don't give a fuck as long as you review it. And join the Facebook group, facebook.com/group/Sean Show. Guys, we have 17 members. That's almost a quorum. That's almost enough for a cult. The cult is beginning. Seantopia starts now. Bye.